The Story of the Prince and the Pauper. Tom Canty was the youngest son of a very poor family, living with the dregs of society in London. Although he always aspired to a better life, encouraged by the local priest who had taught him to read and write. One day, Tom was wandering around near Buckingham Palace when from the outside he sees the prince walking in the gardens. Tom, filled with curiosity, approached the palace gates, trying to sneak into the prince's affairs, but he was immediately caught by the royal guards, who prepared to give Tom a beating for daring to approach the prince. The prince, whose name was Edward, saw Tom being pushed around by the guards and cried out, "Stop!" Then he kindly invited Tom into his palace chambers. Tom was impressed by the luxury that existed in the palace. Once they arrived at the prince's chambers, the two boys got to know one another, and they were both fascinated by each other's life. Both Edward and Tom had very similar faces, and they were so curious as to how the other one lived that they decided to switch clothes and temporarily change lives. Edward left in a hurry so he would not get caught and headed straight to Tom's house, the one that soon would become his. Edward, posing as Tom, soon found himself trying to escape from the beatings from Tom's drunken father, just as Tom, who was posing as the prince, tried to cope with court customs and manners. People on the palace staff thought that the prince had contracted a sickness which caused him memory loss and feared he would go mad. But when asked for judgments, Tom, because he was a bright boy, gave sound and fair observations, which reassured people about his sanity. In the meanwhile, Edward walked around the streets of London by himself. There he met Miles Hendon, a soldier and nobleman returning from war, who asked Edward, "What are you doing down here by yourself, boy?" "Good morning, sir," Edward replied. "I'm actually the prince, trying to see the world from a pauper's perspective." Miles laughed and laughed, obviously thinking it was a joke. "I needed that laugh, boy," Miles said. "Thank you." After some days, Edward was surrounded by a group of boys who were trying to rob him. Luckily, Miles Hendon saw it all and came to his aid. "Go away from this boy if you don't want to get hurt," he threatened. The boys ran away and never bothered Edward again, now that Miles was his protector. As Edward experienced the brutish life of a pauper firsthand, he became keenly aware of the stark class inequality in England. He saw the harsh, punitive nature of the English judicial system in dealing with the poor, where people were convicted on flimsy evidence, and he vowed to reign with mercy when he regained his rightful place. In the meanwhile, news reached them that King Henry VIII had died, and that Edward is to become king. Although grieving for his father, Edward decides to be strong and heads for the palace. In the palace, the coronation ceremony is actually taking place, and Tom is about to be proclaimed King Edward VI. Tom has been claiming repeatedly that he had traded places with the rightful prince, but no one believes him. Suddenly, Edward intervenes. "I am Prince Edward, and the rightful heir to the throne." Tom is eager to give up all claims to the throne. However, the nobles refuse to believe that this beggarly child, standing in front of them, is indeed Prince Edward. "Here is the Great Seal of England," proclaims Edward, presenting the seal he had secretly carried with him after leaving the castle that fateful day. Now there were no doubts as to who the king was, and everything that had happened to each of the boys was explained. Edward was crowned King Edward VI, and he decided to reward Miles Hendon with the rank of Earl, and his family was rewarded with the right to sit in the presence of the king. In gratitude, Edward also named Tom Canty the king's ward. King Edward VI kept his vow of being rightful and fair, making the lives of the English people much better. The end.